The new look Oklahoma City Thunder host the Knicks tonight. Carmelo Anthony and Paul George are both making their Thunder debuts. They join forces with Russell Westbrook, who led the league in scoring and shot attempts last season. Shannon, how will OKC do in the West this season?
Skip, I have my concerns. I think the Warriors will be at the top of the food chain in the West. I believe the Spurs will be number 2, and I think it's going to be between the third spot between OKC and the Rockets. My concerns is, how does Russell reacclimate not being option A, B, C? Forget A, B, C, E, all of the above. Because he had 1 year to do whatever he wanted to do. How many shots you want, Russell? You want to get 45 shots? Take it. Russell, you want to just hold on to the ball, shoot it? Do it. Now you get 3 other guys. One guy is very, very similar to what Russell's skill set is, which is an ISO ball-dominant player. Paul George can play off of the ball, but sometimes he's going to want the ball in his hands. Now, remember, Kevin Durant left OKC for this very reason, because he felt Russell was hogging the ball too much, and he wanted to go somewhere where the ball moved continuously. That's what my concerns are. It looks great on paper. You got Russell in his prime, coming off a historic season, MVP. Paul George, career high in points. We know Carmelo had a lot going on, Phil Jackson and the Knicks, and had all this turmoil going on. So he had somewhat of a down year. But we know Carmelo is an offensive juggernaut. Now, he can score the basketball. Now, by bringing in these players, they lose a lot on the bench. So it's going to be like those 3 and a lot of others. I'm going to say they'll finish. After watching Houston play, I think James Harden and Chris Paul, Skip, I think they're going to be better than what we thought. I think they can get along. I think they can coincide. To get 11, double-digit assists in the first game. I know it's the first game. I'm going to say they'll finish. You know what? I'm going to stick to my guns. I'm going to say they'll finish 3rd. I think they have enough talent. They'll figure it out at some point in time. They're not going to be better than the Spurs or the Warriors. So I'll say they'll be 3rd, and the Thunder will be 3rd, and the Rockets will be 4th.
I'm pretty much with everything you just said. But in the big picture, in all my years of covering the National Basketball Association, this is the most fascinating chemistry experiment I've ever seen. Ever. So I'm riveted, must-see TV, night after night, to see how it doesn't work. Because I lean toward it won't, but I am rooting for it too. I know Melo. I like Melo. He was in just a terrible situation.
An unwinnable situation the last couple of years.
And I think he's got a lot left in that tank of his. And he looks good when a couple times that I saw the preseason.
With or without the hoodie?
Maybe.
I
think he was just trying to lose a little weight.
Okay.
He's trying to sweat it off.
Okay.
That's okay. He needed to drop a couple, and he does look pretty good to me. I'm rooting for Paul George. I'm not the biggest fan because in the East he was a poor man's LeBron James. And Well, he was, because he was stuck as the man on a team that didn't have a second fiddle.
Now he's Paul George. Now, you called me the real name now.
Because he's in the perfect spot for Paul George, because he's now a complementary star. He's a second or maybe even a third fiddle, and it's a good fit for him. He's a good basketball player. He's more like LeBron. He can pass it a little bit.
Yeah, he can rebound, defend.
He's got some unselfishness to him that Carmelo does not have. So back to your point, there was a reason Kevin Durant left Russ behind. And yet I started rooting for Russ for the first time. Remember, this is his 10th year in the league. So he is set in his ways.
Yeah.
But last year, I rooted for him because I just wanted to see him just say, watch this, Kevin. And he did. And he won the MVP. And he averaged a triple-double. But I've always said about Russell, he's a little more interested in starring than winning. Well, now he's on the hot seat, because now he has a chance to sacrifice his starring, his brand, a little bit of his brand, a little bit of his stats, to incorporate 2 very good basketball players into this system. They're not a very deep team, but their star, to quote LeBron last year, ironically, they're top heavy as you know what.
They're top heavier.
They are, but they're in a good way. So it has the elements to be a good team that could threaten Golden State a little. They have the star power if they could find a fit.
But what happens when they go to the bench?
Not much. That's the problem. But I do like their 5.
Yes.
And I really like their 3 if they can figure out. But just remember, Russell and Carmelo, they might be the 2 biggest ball hogs I've ever watched.
Yeah.
Seriously. And that's going to happen. That's going to work out how? I don't think it will work out.
Are they getting the Steven Adams of 2 years ago or Steven Adams of last year?
I think he got his money.
But here's the thing that's going to be very interesting to see. Because, as you mentioned, Russell got as many shots as he wanted. He held the ball as long as he wanted. Will Russell be willing to pass up a good shot to get Melo or Paul George a great shot in the last 2 to 3 seconds of a ball game? Because you knew last year, if the game was close on the line, you know who's taking the last shot. So will Russell pass up a good shot or a contested shot to get Paul or Melo a better shot?
Yep.
Because it's going to be very interesting. Skip, how do you look? For me, if I get the big piece of chicken, it's hard for me to go back. If I get the breast all the time, it's hard for me to go to the wings and drumsticks, Skip. Because here I average a triple-double. And now you're telling me maybe if I just average 23, 24, 8 assists and 4 or 5 rebounds, people go like, man, what happened to Russ? Once you get to that level, Skip, you don't want to step down.
Okay, so what happened during the finals last year? Russell, I think he Instagrammed he was watching Sister Act 2,
Yeah.
right? Was that what you wanted? What's that?
It's a good movie.
Good movie. I don't know. I didn't see that one. Sorry. But is that what you want to do? Or do you want to have to watch or know that Kevin's out there doing that again? Or do you want to be Kevin? Do you want to do that?
No, I want to be Kevin, but I want to average a triple-double while I'm being Kevin.
I don't think you can.
We know that.
Mutually exclusive.
we know that. Skip, you can't shoot that many times. You can't be that ball dominant and have success. You can't, it's impossible because you've tried it. And Kevin Durant, I mean, I would have loved to see Kevin, but Kevin's like, I can't. He said, I'm tired of you guys telling me at the end of my career, if I stay here, you're going to say I was a great scoring champ, I won some MVPs, but I ain't getting any titles.
I agree. In my life, I've never seen a player more hell-bent with a basketball in his hand than Russell Westbrook. He just sees rim, attacks rim, and he goes blind to what's around him.
Correct.
And a lot of times, he can make that work.
Yes.
But he does have Steven Adams.
He won't win your championship like that.
He can't win a championship. But Steven Adams can't. 2 years ago, he was a force, man. He was a postseason force.
Right.
And Robertson can really lock down on the James Hardens of the world. So they have the pieces to make a run. But my gut tells me, and history would scream at you, it will not click like it should.
Well, maybe Steven Adams was, when I'm being the third or fourth best player, it would work. When Kevin's gone, now I'm asked to be the second best player. Maybe they were asking him to be something that he can't be. So now maybe going back to being the fourth or fifth best player, he could. That'll be a nice role for him.
Very interesting.
Am I watching? Yes.
Of course. Well, the three of them
watching?
are used to being the guy. So just if you look at their usage rates alone, it's going to be interesting. You should watch Sister Act 2. You would like it.
Really?
Yes, I highly recommend it.
Just for you.
Day.
I'll do it. Really?
Is that the one? No, like Lauryn Hill in that one?
Yeah, of course, The Choir.
Yeah.
It's great.
She was cutting up, which I wonder if she was late for those auditions. Man, Lauryn Hill.
Well, that was back in the day, though.
No, she's
Careful.
Skip.
Nicole's going to get jealous.
No, I ain't coming. No, Nicole, my boo. But I said that out loud, Joe.
Yeah,
you
very
said
loud.
You said it.
Skip, why you keep
There's
doing
a microphone right there.
I think
Greg Jennings had a strong take on Aaron Rodgers and Tom Brady. We'll discuss that with Greg.
Nicole put you up to this?